high upon our right, and to plunge down into a vast rocky basin quite a couple of 100 feet below. As I caught sight of Jack Penny's face, with its imploring eyes, I was for the moment paralysed. He had tight hold of the tree, which was only about half the thickness of his own thin wrists, and he was swaying up and down, the weight of his body still playing upon the elastic sapling. "I can't hold on long, Joe Carstairs," he said hoarsely. "I'm such a weight; but I say, I ain't a bit afraid. Only do be quick." The doctor had crept to my side now, and he reached out his hand to grasp Jack, but could not get hold of him by a couple of feet. "Can't you reach?" the poor fellow gasped. "No, not yet," the doctor said sharply, and his voice seemed quite changed as he took in the position, and I saw him shudder as he noted, as I had done, that if Jack fell it would be into the foaming basin where the water thundered down. "Be quick, please," panted Jack. "I can't do nothing at all, and I don't think I could swim down there." "Don't look down," roared the doctor, though even then his voice sounded smothered and low. Jack raised his eyes to ours directly, and I seemed to feel that but for this he would have been so unnerved that he would have loosed his hold. "Now," cried the doctor, "the tree's too weak for you to cling to it with your legs. Swing them to and fro till we catch hold of you." Jack looked at me with a face like ashes, but he obeyed, and it was horrible to see the sapling bend and play like a cart whip with the weight upon it. Each moment I expected it to snap in two or give way at the roots, but no, it held fast, and Jack swung to and fro and danced up and down over the awful gulf till he was within our reach. "Now!" shouted the doctor to me. "Both together." I did as he did, clutched at Jack's legs as they swung up to us, held on, then we threw ourselves back, dragging with all our might. "Let go! Let go!" roared the doctor to Jack. "I daren't! Not yet!" he cried, with his head hidden from us, that and his body being over the gulf, while we had his legs over the edge of the rock. "But the tree is drawing you away from us!" shouted the doctor. "Let go, I say!" All this time it was as though Jack Penny were made of india rubber, for as we pulled his legs it was against something elastic which kept giving and drawing us back. For a few moments it seemed doubtful whether we should save him, for our hold was hastily taken, and none of the best, and I could feel the cold perspiration gathering in my hands and on my brow. Then, just as I felt that I must give way, and the doctor's hard panting breathing sounded distant and strange through the singing in my ears, our desperate tugging prevailed over even the wild clutch of one who believed himself in deadly peril. Jack's hands relaxed, and we all fell together amongst the bushes, but safe. No one spoke, and the dull sound of panting was heard even amidst the roar of the falling waters. Then the doctor got up, looking fierce and angry, and seizing Jack by the collar he gave him a shake. "Look here," he said, "I'll have no more of it. Next time you get into danger you may save yourself." "Thank you, doctor," said Jack, sitting up and rocking himself softly. "I might just as well have gone as be treated like this. You might have taken hold of a fellow's clothes, both of you. You've about tore the flesh off my bones." The doctor turned away to look at the great waterfall, evidently amused by Jack's dry drawling speech, and I sat and looked at my companion, while he looked at me, and spoke out so as to make me hear above the roar of the torrent. "I say, Joe Carstairs, I didn't seem to be very much frightened, did I?" "No," I said. "You bore it very bravely." "Mean it?" "Of course," I said. "That's right. Because I did feel awfully queer, you know. I don't mind that, though, so long as I didn't show it. "How did you manage to get into such a pickle?" I said. "Oh, I don't know," he drawled, still rubbing himself gently. "I was wandering forward to get a good look at the waterfall, and then my legs seemed to go down. I only had time to grip hold of that tree, and then I was swinging about. That's all. Let's have a look at the water, though, all the same." We followed the doctor, going cautiously along till we found him standing, gun in hand, gazing from a bare spot right out at the huge tumbling body of water, which made the very rocks on which we stood tremble and vibrate as it thundered down. In one spot, half way down what looked to be a terribly gloomy chasm, a broad beam of sunlight shone right across the foam and fine spray that rose in a cloud, and from time to time this was spanned by a lovely iris, whose colours looked more beautiful than anything of the kind that I had before seen. I could have stood for hours gazing at the soft oily looking water as it glided over the piled up rocks, and watched it breaking up into spray, then plunge headlong into the chaos of water below. But the doctor laid his hand upon my shoulder and pointed upwards, when, leading the way, he climbed on, till we were beyond the rocks which formed the shelf over which the water glided, and here we found ourselves at the edge of a narrow ravine, along which the stream flowed swiftly from far beyond our sight to the spot where it made its plunge. We were in comparative quiet up here, the noise of the fall being cut off by the rocks, which seemed to hush it as soon as we had passed. "Let us get back, my lads," the doctor said then. "I don't think we shall advance our business by inspecting this grand river." And so, leaving the water-worn smooth rock of the ravine, we retraced our steps, and at last, hot and fainting almost with the heat, reached the little camp, where our black followers were eagerly looking out for our return. "Where's Jimmy?" I said as I glanced round, but no one knew, and supposing that he had gone to hunt something that he considered good to eat, I took no further notice then, though the doctor frowned, evidently considering that he ought to have been in camp. Gyp was there though, ready to salute his master, who lay down at once, as he informed me in confidence, to rest his back. We were only too glad to get under the shelter of the great overhanging rock which gave us comparative coolness, situated as it was beneath a hill that was almost a mountain, towering up in successive ledges to the summit. The walk, in spite of the excitement of the adventure, had given us an excellent appetite, and even Jack Penny ate away heartily, looking self-satisfied and as complacent as could be. "Why, what are you laughing at, Jack?" I said, as I happened to look up. "I was only smiling," he whispered, "about my accident." "Smiling at that!" I exclaimed. "Why, I should have thought you would have been horrified at the very thought of it." "So I should if I had been a coward over it, Joe Carstairs, but I wasn't. Now, was I?" "Coward! No," I said. "Of course not. Here, fill my cup with water." We were sitting pretty close to the edge of our shelter, which really might have been termed a very shallow cave, some 20 feet above the level, and as I spoke I held out the tin pannikin towards Jack, for the heat had made me terribly thirsty. The next moment, though, something struck the tin mug and dashed it noisily out of my hand, while before I could recover from my astonishment the doctor had dragged me backwards with one hand, giving Jack Penny a backhander on the chest with the other. "Arrows!" he whispered. "Danger! There are savages there below." End of chapter 18. How I nearly had an arrow to drink.